Welcome everyone to the Smack Raw podcast NXT episode. Guys, we are back after a week away. We are finally back talking NXT. It was a long week, man, because NXT last week's episode, man, it just didn't do it for me, man. It wasn't good at all. But I'm your host, SES Vince. We're back again, the Dream Team. I'm here with Mr. Aaron Real Petty from the Mean Jelly Beans YouTube channel. Almost botched it. It's been a week. It's been a week. It's kind of gotta shake that rust off from like that little vacation we had going on. Other than that, welcome to the show and glad to guys have you. We're gonna be talking NXT, but before we do, make sure you go ahead and hit up all our social medias at SmackRaw Pod, at SES Vince, at Mr. 8984. Almost had it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, make sure you're like locked in to when a new episode drops, and go ahead and download this wherever you consume all your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit us up with questions. #SmackedNXT.
Yeah, Smacked
Twitter.
NXT. We're going to get that going someday. One day, it's going to, like, a year or two down the line, it's going to be a big thing. And you guys going to want to be on the ground floor for that movement. So,
I don't know about you, Vince, but every time I tweet, I always put that in there just so it's in there.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm not going to lie, man. I'm sometimes the kind of guy that forgets that, you know. Sometimes I forget. It's a thing that you've incorporated to the show, and it's something I had to stick with it. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come slowly but surely. With that being said, man, like, what you thought of today's show?
I was compared to last week and the few weeks before, like this was actually a pretty damn good show.
Oh yeah, it was one of the better.
Nice
NXTs
amount of
we've had.
wrestling, a nice amount of story. Like I was into it for sure.
Okay. Do you want to go into it chronologically, or do you want to like hit one big point before we go and cover the entire show?
You're the host, buddy.
All right.
I'll ride with you.
Okay. So first things first, we're back at Full Sail. I thought that was kind of a kind of cool little thing that they did to, you know, it's just set up NXT, Raw, and SmackDown to feel and look different. And I don't know. I think it worked. It definitely felt different. Yes, there was no people in attendance. There was no crowd, but it felt like it's the standard episode of NXT minus the crowd. And
these shows are without the crowds are kind of starting to grow on me.
Yeah, me too. It's not the biggest thing, you know, like it's not the biggest issue that wrestling's had within the last couple of weeks. I'm warming up to them for sure, man.
The only issue I do have, and especially now that like other performers and different podcasts and stuff have pointed it out, there is definitely a formula that they have to follow and that they do. Pose for the hard cam, pose for certain, like you can definitely tell that the difference, like they were saying, like Edge in the ring doing his promo and then compared to the newer guys.
Yeah.
Like I never paid attention to it until it was like brought to my attention.
And you know what? That's actually a fair point because guys like Randy Orton have actually knocked like NXT people and the AEW people saying that, look, it takes time. Like, you can't just be like an indie wrestler and go on TV. You need to know where the hard cam is. And if you go back into like Drew McIntyre's interview, I don't remember where it was. It might have been on The Bump or some other WWE show where he addressed that and said, yeah, when I came, it was, you know what? It was the FCW documentary on the network.
Yeah.
Where Drew McIntyre was saying that his initial first run, he didn't know where the hard cam was. He didn't know where to
when they
look.
brought him up.
Yeah, exactly. And that was before he was like the chosen one. That was so it's a thing that like you have to do, especially with no crowd to feed off of. You need to like go into that camera, and it worked. They took a page out of AEW and what Raw was doing, and NXT just went to the next level, and it felt like it was back to where it was supposed to be. Two things to note: Takeover's canceled. Takeover Tampa Bay, RIP. It's not happening, but those matches will be taking place on NXT TV starting April 1st, which is next Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so and it's gonna start next week, and it's gonna culminate within the next couple of weeks. So all the matches we were supposed to be seeing is gonna happen between next week and 2 weeks from now. Also, Triple H. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and kudos to you. Another one you called, triple threat match with
yes.
with Keith Lee and everybody.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more once we get to that segment. But yeah, we'll unpack that a little bit more later on. And Triple H, he was supposed to be in the arena to address the whole Gargano Ciampa situation. That's one thing they smacked us at the start of the show. They're like, this is going to get addressed. That was a big talking point. And also, too, I don't know if you noticed this, because I didn't even notice this until the Matt Riddle Roderick Strong match. Tom Phillips and Byron Scott were on commentary. I didn't even notice that Nigel McGuinness, Beth Phoenix, and Mauro Ranallo weren't even there.
No, I definitely noticed it. To me, I mean, it was like Tom or Todd, whatever. I think he's really good, but I think that Mauro's energy matches NXT's energy. And don't get me, it wasn't terrible commentary, but you could tell the difference in the energy level. But I like Todd. Like, I think he's perfect for Raw or SmackDown, to be honest. Like, but you could, and I like Byron too. Like, he's that goofy ass face, you know what I'm saying, that keeps it like it took him a while to grow on me, but like I'd much rather have him than King any day of the week.
Hands down. Byron Saxton, to me, I've said this in the past, is very underrated, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in the 24/7 title picture because he is a former wrestler. So
he was actually a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, he was a good character. He was goofy, and you can see that like coming out on commentary, especially last week on Raw when he was in that Stone Cold segment. He really shined. So
to me, he's the other side of the coin of Corey Graves. Or Corey Graves is the asshole that everybody hates.
Yeah,
he's that goofy, like white meat baby face that you can't help to love no matter what he does. Even when he's taking a stunner, you're cheering, but you're like, damn, why they got to do him like that?
Exactly, man. Exactly. I totally get that. And I don't know. It kind of felt like you were missing Mauro and Nigel there because their voices have been synonymous with NXT for like the past year or so, and it's just jarring a little bit. I didn't notice it until the main event though. I'm like, wait, who is this talking? This feels weird. Why is like where's Mauro? Wait, where's Nigel? Wait, where's Beth? I don't know. Maybe that was just me just focusing on the wrestling and taking notes that I didn't even notice.
I noticed it during the camera grinds because that's when I started watching.
Okay.
And the fact that they knew what they were talking about, but you could tell they didn't know what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You could tell that they had just studied some shit somebody put in front of them. Like they didn't have that like intimate knowledge of what's going on like Mauro and Beth Phoenix and Nigel have. Like they weren't like giving any backstory to things that happened, but how we got there.
See,
that's when I started noticing it.
That's something that I was noticing, but I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, why are they not like giving us details about stuff? It's almost like they haven't been watching NXT the last month or so.
That's what made me start looking because I kind of was like eating dinner and watching it. Then when I stopped eating, I started looking. I was like, wait a minute, Mauro's not there.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, wait, hold on. And then when they're talking, I started actually paying attention to the commentary. I was like, yeah, they don't know what the hell is going on.
All right. So like you mentioned, you said you didn't jump into the Cameron Grimes match. So you missed 2 matches before that. So let's talk about those 2 matches and talk about that. We started off with Austin Theory and Tyler Breeze. So the show kicked off. So the show kicked off with that match, but before that, it was like a quick like little recap package like NXT likes to do. So this went on until like the 21 minute mark. So they gave them a good. This went on for like at least 17-18 minutes in ring action alone. Cause Austin Theory came out and he actually had his phone, and Byron Saxton's like, oh, why is he coming out with his phone? I don't know if that's such a smart idea. He should have left his phone like in the backstage area. He probably just forgot. That's probably a mistake right there. But the entire time I'm like, oh my gosh, Austin Theory is mocking Tyler Breeze with the cell phone during his entrance. Tyler Breeze came out, and honestly, the lack of the crowd really highlighted Austin Theory's ability to trash talk in the ring, not just on the mic. And that was very good. Go back and watch this match, dude. I know you didn't.
I'm definitely going to.
So very, very good match. It lasted for, like I said, like 17-18 minutes. At one point, Tyler Breeze gets knocked into the outside, gets thrown into the barricade, and he barely makes the 10 count to get back in the ring. For the most part, this is the Austin Theory show. And Tyler Breeze is like, oh, snap, this guy is good. He's on my level, if not slightly better. And the way I saw it and the way the commentary portrayed it was Austin Theory's arrogance, his ego got the best of him and cost him this match because he should have won this match. So so towards the end of the match, he has Tyler Breeze done. He's knocked out cold. He goes to the corner and grabs his phone and starts like messing with it and starts a video, like he's recording the video, like for like I don't know if he was supposed to go live or just recording the video. And then the message is like, oh, I'm recording this so you can watch this later on and have this for future references, and your kids can hopefully see this in the future. And he says that I can do this because I can go all day. And I don't remember the gist of everything he said. I'm not doing it justice. But he picks him up for his finish, and he's about to get it. And Tyler Breeze just starts kicking and squirming and escapes out of it, reverses it. Austin Theory walks into the beauty shot, knocks him out. 1, 2, 3. Tyler Breeze with the win. So this match, again, man, the more and more I'm seeing Austin Theory, the more I love this, man.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, you may not be doing it justice what he actually said, but just seeing the excitement in your face, I see you're coming to the dark side. I told you the kid is lights out, bro.
Yeah.
What I wanted to see was, like, how did he match up size-wise with Tyler Breeze?
I think he might have been slightly bigger, if not about the size.
Okay.
Yeah, so
well, that's good moving forward because, like, Tyler Breeze is, like, he's not one of the smaller guys, but he's definitely not one of the bigger guys either. So if he was a little bit bigger than him, that's pretty.
I have to go
decent for him.
I have to go back and like really assess it, but in terms of like the way they were shooting it, and maybe it was just his muscle because like his physique is way better than Tyler Breeze.
Yeah,
Austin Theory looked like, even though he wasn't that big, he looked kind of like jacked up.
He looks like baby John Cena.
Yes, you've mentioned that before. So again, very good match, and it looks like it's a story that's going to go and continue and go forward in NXT. Austin Theory, I don't think is going to be done with Tyler Breeze anytime soon because of the way that match ended, and it's a way to protect Austin Theory while also building up Tyler Breeze because that's a big wrestling like saying that like if you're beating a nobody, then what they even accomplish, you know? And
exactly.
So Ric Flair has said that, you know, if I talk you down, then I beat a nobody, but if you beat me, then I just lost to a nobody. So it's something similar to that. So they have to build up Tyler Breeze so that it means something when Austin Theory finally dethrones him.
The only thing I hate about it is this 50-50 book and stuff and like how they do heels. Like, why can't a heel just have a winning streak? Like that to me, that's more just as much heat as a face having a winning streak because they're like, why does this asshole keep winning?
You know what? Dude, you bring that up, and I swear you've been part of this show from the get-go because that's something that Jay Thunder has brought up in the show before. He's like, I haven't seen that at all. Like the last time I remember like a heel going on a winning streak is like Baron Corbin when he was ending matches in like 30 seconds or something. Yeah, so it's definitely something that we need to look into because not a lot of heels get too many clean victories and go on a winning streak.
And that's another thing, too. They don't have to be clean. Well, I think if they were clean, it would be more. But, I mean, just a winning streak is a winning streak. He can let him cheat a little bit, let him win a couple countouts. Who gives a shit? But just let a heel get some wins. Like, and it's not just even the heels. Like, they do it with everybody. It's 50-50 booking constantly. And NXT wasn't so bad at it, but you can tell now that they're on USA and Vince and them, other people have their eyes on it. Some of the Raw and SmackDown shit trickles down. Not a lot of Grimes too. He wins one, he loses one every week.
Gotcha.
Like he's one of your only good heels you have. Like give him a little momentum or something to go, especially if you're holding him back for the winner of the triple threat. I'm saying like that was a good one. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, man, honestly, like going back to your point, I'll punctuate this whole topic by saying this. One of the best heels of my generation growing up watching wrestling, and that just shows my age, is early 2000s JBL on SmackDown being unstoppable for 10 months until John Cena finally beat him at WrestleMania 21. I hated that man with a passion. Like, if I could, I would beat the crap out of JBL if I wanted to, and that's what you want out of your heels. And I feel like that's one thing that NXT doesn't have. You're right. NXT doesn't have that. But you know, and that's some props I'll give to AEW because they have two of those. Sometimes it can be Jericho, but MJF is definitely that guy. You just want to go ahead and beat for sure. So moving on, we had another match. Killian Dane makes his return to NXT, and he's facing off the debuting. Hope I'm not butchering this guy's name. Tehuti Miles, brand new guy. Obviously,
I have to see him. I'll probably know who he is if I actually saw him.
Yeah. So obviously you take one glance at this match, and it's an enhancement match for Killian Dane, obviously. But I liked Miles. There's something there. I don't know what, but there's something about him that I liked. And we need more people of color on WWE. I'm an advocate for more people of color, no matter what. I don't care.
I'm about that life.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, you know what I loved? There was a lot of color debuting tonight on NXT, but we'll talk about that later because I'm super excited about that. I know you were.
Me too.
Quote unquote stoked about it, But
yeah.
So after that match, I mean, yeah, Killian Dane won. He won with the Vader Bomb. Just wrapping that up.
My thing is like, what do they see in Killian? Like, don't get me wrong. I know that they need heels and stuff, and like they need to have like that lower mid card guy that can kind of keep the undercurrent of the show going. But like, I feel like there's so many other dudes they could at least give a shot to besides Killian Dane.
Triple H likes the guy. I know for a fact he really, really likes him. I see something in him, but to me, he just kind of feels like a faction guy. Some guy that would thrive in a faction. That's why he thrived in Sanity. I don't see him as a singles guy. Or at least this incarnation of Killian Dane, I'm not feeling.
The Belfast Brawler stuff, like I like the idea of it as the concept, but I don't think that they didn't differentiate this version of him from the Sanity version.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same fucking thing. He's yelling, screaming, pounding his chest. He just put on jeans and a cutoff.
Also, too, I'm a big detractor of wrestlers just putting on the jeans and the cutoff. I hated that.
Oh yeah,
I hated the
I
Ambrose
hate the jeans.
I hated the Ambrose did that. That was I didn't like that at all. At
least Killian's are actually jeans. Ambrose wore jeggings, so at least we got to give him some props.
The only guy that I'm okay with wearing jeggings is Orange Cassidy. That's about it. But going back to NXT, we had another match, Cameron Grimes versus Tony Nese. This isn't the first time we've seen Tony Nese. He's a regular, like one of those, occasional characters you see on the TV show.
He's a hand.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be honest with you, this match pissed me the fuck off.
Go off, my man. Go off. Tell me.
And it's not even so much that either one of them, Cameron Grimes should have won this match. I mean, they're clearly, again, he has to be a Triple H guy.
Cameron Grimes did win.
No, that's what I'm saying. He had to win this match.
Yeah.
I'm for him winning this match. So it's not like it's anything against Cameron Grimes. Like, this was a type of match you needed with a talent that's kind of equal to him athletically, so you got to see him go back and forth, and both of them get a little shine. But my thing is, why the fuck is Tony Nese enhancement talent? Like, I just don't get it. Like, all right, I'll give you, he doesn't have much of a personality, but that's because they won't let him show what he can really do. Like, on the independents and all that, like, he was like a Rick Rudish kind of like arrogant like heel, you know what I'm saying? Like, and his moveset is probably better than anybody on the roster. If you actually let him go, he can do power moves, he can do off the rope stuff, like lucha stuff, like he can do martial arts stuff. Like, I don't understand what they don't see in this man. Like, I don't get it in any way, shape, or form. And like I said, I love Cameron Grimes. You know, we already had this talk. He needed this win, especially after like the 50-50 shit they do to him. But I just don't see what they don't see in Tony Nese, but they see in somebody like Killian Dane.
Yeah. Honestly, with NXT, dude, it happens a lot where, someone just takes an L and they'll bounce back. Like, an example could be like Raul Mendoza. This guy, constant loser, always there losing, but we saw 2 weeks ago on NXT he got kidnapped by like the masked wrestling mafia or something, so they got something for him.
But that's the thing, that's to me, that's not a good example, because Raul has been building up his fan base from the beginning, and in losing a lot of those matches, that's what made the fans start to love him, which made them kind of take notice of him. Tony Nese has been in some high-profile programs with Enzo and stuff, the 205 Live, the Cruiserweight stuff with Buddy Murphy. Like, he's had some decent, not high-profile, I guess mid-profile matches and stuff, and like he was,
high-profile for 205 Live.
High-profile for 205 Live, you know what I'm saying? And didn't they make one of the... Was it the pre-show on WrestleMania, or was it? Yeah. Or were they the first show?
He was the pre-show, and he beat Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. He has something there. Like, I just don't understand what they don't see.
The reason why you see Tony Nese, here's the thing: if Triple H didn't like Tony Nese, you wouldn't see him on NXT. He'd just be buried on.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm all right with. I can at least there's that one little silver lining in all of it is if he keeps coming back, then that means that Triple H likes something about him.
I don't know if you know this or not, but he's been doing tag team matches with Mike Kanellis on the NXT Florida Loop circuit. So like on the house shows.
I hadn't heard anything about
So
it.
on the house shows, he's actually been a tag team with Mike Kanellis, and honestly, Mike Kanellis and Tony Nese with Maria Kanellis as their mouthpiece could be an amazing heel tag team.
And that's the thing, Mike Kanellis too doesn't need a mouthpiece. He can actually fucking talk on the mic. Like, he's awesome. Like, that was the whole reason why they signed him away from the independents.
Exactly. The Miracle Mike Bennett is still one of my favorite characters in Impact Wrestling.
And like I said, and then the two of them together, like that's another thing. Like, they had something going right there. They started, remember, on Raw before they switched it over to Lana and them. Mm-hmm. They were running that like whose is it
right
angle, whatever. Like, and then they just completely dropped it off.
I always felt like Mike Kanellis would have been an amazing NXT superstar, especially with Maria Kanellis on there. But you know, the fact that Maria was with him, they jump started all the way to SmackDown. Yeah. That might have hurt them. I
think it did too.
Yeah.
Because imagine them at NXT starting their own stable.
Dude, I was all on board on Mike Kanellis being like the 5th member of Undisputed Era because he has history with Adam Cole and he's an ROH guy and he fits the mold of what Undisputed Era is. And especially then you add a Maria Kanellis. Now you start building this faction and it gets
and now
to like
you have a
Bullet
woman
Club
too as well if she ever gets unpregnant for once to wrestle because
exactly.
she's not an awesome wrestler but she's decent.
Oh yeah, I mean she's better than Aaliyah.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if he had been part of the Seth Rollins thing with her.
Exactly, definitely. But yeah, let's close off this match. Cameron Grimes did win with the cave-in, the double moon stomp, which I love. He does it way better than Kofi. I'm sorry, Kofi, but he just does. And this, obviously, like you said, this was a standard NXT match to help Cameron Grimes back on track after losing to Keith Lee. It's the standard NXT thing. You get built up to a certain point, and if you lose, you get slowly built right back up. This isn't Raw where they just bury Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, and then they throw you on random TV like 8 weeks after the fact. But that's what this match was for. And like I mentioned, Aaliyah, she had a match. Her match was next. She had a match, ladder match qualifier against Xia Li. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but this was a rematch from 4 months ago, where Xia Li actually like broke Aaliyah's nose and she was out of action. So I loved that this was a rematch, and I was actually, you know what, the way they built it up, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm into this match. And Xia Li, I love Xia Li. If she gets added to that ladder match, I'm all for it. Let's do it. But before the match,
I don't think it's going to be her. We'll get there.
Yeah, but before the match actually starts, Xia doesn't come out. We're like, what's going on? We get taken to footage from backstage, and Xia got jumped backstage, and
that Nancy Kerrigan, why me?
Yeah, exactly. So she gets jumped, and the way that they framed it was like Aaliyah was like, "Whoa, she's not here," so just announce me
the only
as the
gripe
winner.
I have with all this is like, why is it when everyone's attacked in the back, it's always a knee or a leg? Why can't they just be laid out? Like, why does it always have to be the Nancy Kerrigan all the time?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a SpongeBob reference. You know, when like the fish just yells out "my leg." You know, maybe it's that. maybe Triple H is a big SpongeBob guy. And he likes to
every
do
time.
a callback.
I just think of like what is it, Family Guy, whatever. When he hits his shin, he's like like that's all I think about in my head when I see him back there.
I totally see it too. So the question was asked is, who jumped Aaliyah? And I'll ask this question, you know, like after like we get here. So it was Aaliyah was like basically petitioning, like, just announce me as the winner, declare me as the winner. She forfeited, she can't compete. And commentary is making it sound like she probably attacked Xia Li for revenge for what happened like 4 months ago. And you could honestly see it, but let me ask you this: could it have been her replacement, Io Shirai, making her way back to NXT? Could have. So that's the match.
That's what I was thinking. Because it was two heels,
and
clearly she was like, for what all we know, maybe she had asked Io to do it for her, and then it backfired on Io. I was like, well, shit, I did that. I'm gonna go ask, can I replace her? Like, I like that there's so many questions up in the air about it.
And that's really good. That's great storytelling right there. So, like I said, this was Aaliyah versus Xia Li. It changed and into Aaliyah versus Io Shirai. Same condition. Winner gets to qualify into the ladder match. And honestly, this match was a formality, dude. The minute I saw Io,
I was watching with my girlfriend, I was like, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, she When she was like, "That was fast." Yeah, that's
All right. But yeah, man. So Io Shirai advances in the ladder match. She wins with the moonsault. Honestly, Aaliyah, she's like the loser of NXT. She's been there for like 8 years now. She'll never move on from NXT. But they're doing something here. So the question again, I'm gonna ask it again. Who do you think? Do you think it was Io? Do you think it was Aaliyah? Me personally, I'm not gonna like overthink it. I'm gonna say it was Aaliyah trying to get revenge, and Io just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And Mr. Rio's like, "Oh, Io's back. Get her in here. She's one of our biggest names. Let's put her in the ladder match qualifier."
I'm hoping it's not that simple. I'm hoping they find some way to add some spice or sizzle to it or something. But that's probably what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, I mean, what it's going to lead to is I don't think Zaya or we'll talk about it later on, but they have a second chance. I don't think either of them are going to get into this ladder match, and they're going to do it like a side story for Zaya Lee, and they're going to use Aaliyah to be the person that just puts over Zaya Lee and slowly move her up.
I thought she's in it. I think she's in the ladder match.
Who?
Zaya. I thought.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't in the ladder match.
I thought she was. I thought she
no.
the last.
No. So it was Io that qualified. So she qualifies, and we have one more match.
I'm talking about for the last chance match.
Oh, we'll talk about it when we get to it. Okay. So after this, I don't know if you saw it. There was a eerie vignette for Dexter Lumis. Do you know Dexter Lumis?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
For sure, me too. He has like this like serial killer gimmick, I guess, or his vibe.
He feels trying to think of what video game it is, but he literally looks like a video game character from like Tekken or something.
Oh, for sure.
Like I can't think of what it is, but like no, I like him. I like his moveset. I like that creepy shit. Like I think that if they actually give him some time to marinate, like I think he's gonna be pretty legit.
Oh man, dude, he reminds me of like a Bond villain or something. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like literally, like some like retired war hero or whatever that just lost his mind and just became a mercenary or some shit afterwards.
For sure. So vignette for Dexter Lumis. He's coming to NXT. I'm geeked. I'm excited. For those of you that may not have known, he was part of the Breakout Stars tournament that had unfortunately what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Cameron Grimes was in there, but ACH was in there. The former ACH was there.
Swerve.
Swerve was in there. Angel Garza. That's where I first was introduced to Angel Garza. So kudos to that tournament because it really did help. Following that, we had the Keith Lee in-ring interview, and he was basically explaining that he confirmed what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, is that he mistook Dijakovic for the guy that jumped him. He thought that, he turned around, he saw Dijakovic, he saw his title, he thought he was being taunted by Dijakovic because he had previously said that he still wants the title. So that's what he thought. He's like he said that he owed an apology to Dijakovic. Dijakovic comes out. He said he doesn't care about his apology. The only thing he cares about is the North American title, and that's what he wants. Damian Priest comes out and basically says that, nah, y'all tripping. I want this title. The reason why I want this title is because it'll help me live forever, boost my name. That's all that, and I like that consistently. That is Damian Priest's motivation in life, in wrestling, is that what he wants, and he wants to be famous. He wants to live in infamy, his name to be recognized by everyone.
A heel doing heel shit.
I love it.
Motivated by fame, money, and championships, and he'll do whatever he has to do to get there. Wrestling 101. A heel or a bad guy doing bad shit to get the title. Yeah. That's all I'm asking for. Finally, and he's getting better and better on the mic every week.
Oh man,
because some of those vignettes were kind of terrible.
Yeah,
and the more he's got a chance to talk, he's getting better and better.
Because he used to be Punishment Martinez, and that was just a different character, and he was slowly.
He didn't talk at all.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just warming up to that Damian Priest character, and I'm on board. I'm full on board with it. And
he's only been wrestling as long as Matt Riddle. Like he's only been wrestling maybe like 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. And he's
new. He's new as shit.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a future NXT champion.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's a future world champion, to be honest, because if you really think about it, he's a badass version of Roman Reigns. What Roman Reigns should be and what we all would hope from a heel Roman Reigns, it's pretty much him. They kind of look alike. They got the tattoos, same size, athletic as shit.
You know what? I like
Just
that.
saying.
I like that analogy right there. A heel Roman Reigns. Now I want to see that match. Thank you for
Yeah.
introducing that match into the
That's
equation.
all I've been thinking about since he debuted. Just like even his voice, that deep kind of like rumbly kind of like you know
Like
what I'm
Nega
saying? Like
Roman, you know, like in video
yeah,
games where he's like the Nega
yeah,
version
like
of you.
that. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so he comes out. He busts out the nightstick. He's about to tag Keith Lee, and he goes inside. And he gets stomped by Dijakovic.
Bro,
Stomped.
that's what I'm saying. Djokovic stomped the fuck out of him, bro.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like we would have had to have some words afterwards. That shit was stiff.
It was, and then Keith Lee just pushes him out of the way. He wants to attack Damian Priest. They're brawling. They're in the outside. Freaking Dijakovic comes out with a springboard plancha, whatever the fuck it's called. Jeez, takes them both
This match
out.
This match is gonna be ridiculous. Just imagine if we had got this match on Takeover Saturday. Like, oh my god.
The only issue I have with these matches happening on NXT TV is that there will be commercial breaks. That's the only issue. I know they're gonna still get their time, but still, man, they're still gonna they're not gonna get the time. They're not gonna get the space.
Think about stuff like that too. Is like you pretty much can do whatever the fuck you want on USA. Tell them, hey, we don't have a WrestleMania. This is when we're airing these matches. We need limited or no commercial breaks. Even if you just do it through certain matches, like you already said, they're spreading them out. Mm-hmm. So do limited commercial breaks or no commercial breaks during those matches that would have been like maybe your main, semi-main, and like upper mid-card matches. At least spread it out like once a week or a couple, and then do it like that. Like you can do whatever. If they wanted to, they could do something with USA. I mean, come on, man. They've done it before with SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day when it was on USA, they've done like commercial free for like a main event match and stuff. So
or at least
I know they can do it.
At least give it like the picture-in-picture stuff, or just 1 or 2 commercials max. Do not. Yeah. So that's my whole thing. So like you were saying, I had it here written down on my notes. I'm like, well, this is definitely leading to a triple threat match for the North American title. Sure enough, later on in the night, it was confirmed that next week we're going to have this match. But we'll talk about more about what's set up for next week at the closing segment of the show. That's usually how I like to set up the shows. It's like I like to start it off by what new information we got from tonight's episode, and I close off the podcast by like the matches we're going to have next week. So,
bro, you're preaching to your partner, I know.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, I know every different podcast are different thing, but I like going in chronological order. I think we get to hit our points, mm-hmm. and it gives people to kind of see how we feel about each segment. Like,
for sure.
I'm riding with. We're partners, bro. You gotta explain to me. Let's go.
Oh, it's more so for the viewers, for the listeners out there. Okay, so next up we had Adam Cole poolside promo. He clearly wasn't poolside. I saw on Twitter that somebody zoomed in on the glasses, and you can tell on the reflection of the shades that he was nowhere near a pool. So I thought that was funny. The big takeaway here is that there was just highlighting Adam Cole. They were doing this whenever they could, whenever they can mention Adam Cole being the longest reigning NXT champion in history. They did it, and unfortunately, which sucks for Adam Cole, they probably were gonna have some kind of segment last week, but they did what they did, and they were gonna have the championship celebration for Adam Cole. And
because last week was the actual when he took over the lead, wasn't it?
Yeah. Last Wednesday was when he took over the record, and he was supposed to have a championship celebration, but they didn't even do that. I don't know why they didn't do some in-ring stuff. I have no idea.
Well, it's not even. I'm not even so-called. Like, I understand what that type of show, what they were trying to get from it, but why the hell would you do an hour on DIY?
You know what? I'm not even gonna go into it, man. We'll talk about because they did it right this week. Everything they tried to accomplish last week in that 1 hour of NXT, they accomplished in like a 15 minute segment to close off.
They could have did that hour last week. They could have did that in a 2-minute video like they do before every WrestleMania match.
Bro, honestly, they fucking snoozed because they could have done a lot of what they did tonight last week. But I digress. So he offers Velveteen Dream a match against Bobby Fish next week, and if he accepts, he wants to do this so that he can just mock and laugh at the Dream when he loses to Bobby Fish. But honestly, we know what this is. This is just gonna lead up to Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole, and Velveteen just kind of has to go through the people in Undisputed Era, and I like this because he went through Roderick Strong. He's going through Bobby Fish. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a singles match with Kyle O'Reilly, and it will highlight how good Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are as singles competitors, because not so many people know them other than just being the tag team guys in Undisputed Era.
Well, not even that. It's also too long-term storytelling with a heel. Like, you have a heel faction. This is the type of things you're supposed to do to protect your heel champion. You use his minions to fight the guy, rough him up, and get him ready for the heel champion to fight him.
Heel faction 101, man.
Right, exactly.
All right, so moving on, we had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, your favorite tag team in NXT, versus Shane Thorne and the debuting Brandon Vink, who this tag team debuted
just on Raw, wasn't he? That's what I said. He was just on Raw.
His NXT debut, because he wasn't on NXT before. And I mentioned this to Kyle, is that he was more of a performance center guy, and he mentioned this like, is this them trying to like revive TM61 or something? And honestly, he said they kind of look like jobbers on Raw. On NXT, they kind of look like they fit a little bit more. Yeah. What you thought of this match, man? We'll run through this really quickly, but this is all.
It was a standard Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch enhancement talent type match. Like, they're great hands. Never not a hard hitting, like, forceful match. Like, they put on good matches every time, but it's just good.
Yeah, I mean, they won with the double submission. I like that. That's very similar to how DIY won their tag titles at TakeOver Toronto. But I want to talk about Brandon Vink and Shane Thorne. This is their second match as a tag team. I don't know if you saw them on Raw or not. What do you think of them as a new tag team?
I love Shane Thorne. I liked TM61, and I thought that what's his name? The thick boy. I always forget his name because that's a terrible name. I can't not remember that one.
I'm drawing a blank on his name as well. I'm sorry. Well, let's just go ahead.
Well, the original TM61 was Shane Thorne and the other guy that's always hurt, and then that guy, the thick boy. They were the original version of it.
Yeah.
So I thought that they would get back together. Bronson Reed, that's his name.
Bronson Reed. There you go. Solid.
I thought that once they finally signed him, like a couple years after they signed the other Shane Thorne and them, that they would get them back together in it or whatever. But it never happened. But I don't know. I like the big guy. I mean, I like that he's actually a big guy. What was he, like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah. Honestly,
and he actually looked bigger than them. So
throw him in there. Reed. Throw Bronson Reed in there. Make a faction. I'm a big man of faction, dude. Like, that's one thing I love about New Japan is that they have factions up the ass. And if AEW can just make a trio out of nowhere with Pac and Lucha Bros, why not make an Aussie faction over there? So
that's my thing too, like that, and that's what kind of got me into Japanese wrestling was actually Dragon Gate, where it was everybody was in a goddamn faction. You might have had individual stories, but everybody was part of a faction. Like, that was the whole gist of what it was.
You know what's cool about that? And because it gives you the feeling like it's gang warfare, like actual gangs, and like, look, not trying to put words in your mouth, but like we grew up in like more urban areas, and
we know what the hell that's about.
We know what it's about. If you grew up in more of like the burbs.
Do you remember what that faction was with Sema and all of them and Naruki Doi and Sema? I can't remember what the hell it was called for the life of me.
No, not really.
I'll look it up after, but that's what got me in. Like, I stumbled across a YouTube video and fell down a Dragon Gate rabbit hole, and and that's what got me hip to Japanese wrestling was Shima and Naruki Doi.
Gotcha.
I know I'm butchering the names. But.
Yeah, no worries. Let's go on to the next match. We had the second qualifier match between Candice LeRae and Kaden Carter. Another formality for me. I knew Candice was gonna win this. Come on, she's a bigger name. Yeah. I really like Carter, but I feel like she's
the
still
black
like
Aaliyah.
No, because she's picked up
she's
some
the
wins.
Brazilian Aaliyah. My bad.
She's actually beaten Chelsea Green before, so she's picked up some wins. Aaliyah hasn't really won nothing.
And she has a nice moveset too. Like, I like her athleticism. I like some of the like mixed martial arts stuff. Yeah. It's just that goddamn hair, man. Like, it's too distracting. Like, you don't think about anything else in her matches except you can't ever see her face because her hair, and her opponent always ends up using the hair in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. I got you. I like her though, but I feel like she's just like a year or two away from really breaking out. She's gonna slowly get
I feel like
there.
she's like a kind of like a version of Ember Moon, to be honest. Like, that's the type of vibes I get from her when she wrestles.
Sure. And like you were saying, She's very good. You like her arsenal, and what I liked is that she was reversing a fair amount of Candice LeRae's offense, which is something that like she missed that like springboard moonsault the first time she went for it, but in the end it was Candice LeRae. She picked up the victory with the Gargano escape. I'm not a big fan of like couples sharing the finisher. Like,
I was just about to say that.
Like, I'm not a big fan. Like, I like Candice, and she's such a good wrestler. She doesn't have to use the Gargano escape. She should be using something else. Do something
use that goddamn mustache ride. That neck breaker off the top rope from Joey. Whatever. I always forget his damn
Joey
name.
Ryan?
That's Joey Ryan. Yeah, I actually got a picture and an autograph with him. But no, they like. That's when she was the best. When they were that World's Cutest Tag Team where she was playing off his ignorance and shit. Like, stop. That's the Candice LeRae I like. Not this female version of Johnny Gargano. Like, she's boring as hell because she doesn't have his charisma. He can be boring and do nothing in the ring, but he has that fucking it factor that just draws you in, where if he's getting his ass kicked, you're like, no, get up. And if he's kicking ass, you're cheering along with him. She does not have that. And I feel like that's a mistake they're making, trying to make her the female Gargano when she is not that in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I totally get that for sure, man. Honestly, her as a clean meat baby face just doesn't work for me. But going back to the ladder match, it was confirmed in 2 weeks' time we're gonna have this match. And yeah, I mean, I had the question: who do you think will be the final wrestler added to this match? We'll talk about it in a sec. But yeah, that's something that we got looking forward to. So 2 weeks from now,
what is it? It's a gauntlet match.
It's a gauntlet match. Yeah. So we got that announced later on in the show. After this, we had Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. And hold up, just one thing, just because I know you're a fan. What you think of Matt Riddle with the Knicks gear? What you think?
First of all, that is my favorite basketball team and my favorite wrestler merging together.
I love it,
to
man.
make a heart. I didn't do it right. To make a heart. I love him even more, bro. That's my dude, bro. Told you that's my favorite guy. Now that this match was so fire. You got to see what Roddy really could be capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see, like, it kills me with Matt Riddle, because, like, versus some guys, he looks huge. And then versus other guys, he looks like he's small as hell. Like, and you can see the actual size difference he has on a normal sized person like Roddy. Like, he looked bigger than him and stronger than him. But, no, it was a 5-star match for me. This is the stuff they should have been doing, like you said, last week. Throw a couple of these matches in between those ridiculous-ass packages.
It was nothing but wrestling, except for like the last segment at the end.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's the whole point of NXT. What the hell do you need have? Only thing I can think of is maybe they were testing everybody and didn't have everybody in or something. Like, I don't understand. Nothing for the life of me.
Or
can I get why they did that last week?
Maybe they wanted to do it at Full Sail and took a week break, or maybe it was a case where they're like, well, fuck, we don't have enough storytelling like material, we're gonna have to throw this week in the dumpster. And
I was thinking about that too, but that's not true, because this week they continued the storylines from the week before the all vignette show.
Maybe it was the ratings, because ratings wise it did like 500K and they just got destroyed by AEW. And maybe it was like, okay, well, this didn't work. I think it was just more of the fact that
trial and error type stuff.
Yeah, trial and error. So last week's Raw wasn't good, wasn't the best, because they didn't put too much wrestling, and they had the whole 1 hour and a half worth for the Royal Rumble, so that wasn't good. So then they changed the camera angle. Then they saw what they did on Raw. That shit worked. I'm pretty sure they saw what AEW did, and they took inspiration from that. And honestly, I said this on the Raw recap, is that they're not doing it on purpose, but AEW and WWE are gonna slowly help each other out, figuring out what the perfect method and formula is for these no audience, empty arena shows. So overall, I feel like NXT figured it out. This is exactly what AEW was doing last week, except with a little bit more.
The only thing I didn't like is I feel like NXT would have been perfect for having the heels on one side and the faces on the other side, because then you would have got to actually see who they think are heels and who they think are faces.
That's just a personal thing you want. You just want that so they.
But that's how that kind of just proved a point for me why they don't do it, because I think they don't really know who's a heel and who's a face.
What I was saying is that I don't know. NXT likes to do like these performance matches where they have the PC like trainees in the stands as the crowd to be the people.
Yeah.
So maybe they could put like kind of like New Japan. You know how they have the young lions like being the ringside people. Maybe just have some performance center people, like some like different trainees. Just rotate them so you can get a feel like this is actually like a school. Like there's a training ground going.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That'd actually be a pretty damn good training where you're on live TV. You're watching a live match on TV being performed by professionals that you're trying to get to where they're at. Like, why would that? Like, that's kind of a no-brainer for me now that you say that. Why would you not have those guys? Especially if you know they have probably about 10 or 20 that are right on the edge of coming into NXT or that are doing the like house show circuit. So why not have those people out there? That's a good idea, Vince.
Yeah. Hey man, yeah, that's what the show's all about, man. Try and bring some stuff and just throw it at the wall, see what sticks, man. That's what this is about.
Right.
Like you were mentioning, no crowd, nobody in the arena, nobody in the stands, but there was no Pete Dunne or Undisputed Era, and I like that they give us explanation. They addressed that Pete Dunne just couldn't travel with the entire situation going on right now. Pete Dunne couldn't travel, and the reason Undisputed Era wasn't there is because Roderick Strong wanted to do this on his own, saying they were trying to say that Velveteen Dream really got to Roderick Strong, and he wanted to prove that he can do things on his own and doesn't need Undisputed Era to like get by in his career. What I liked is, again, the no fans really allowed us to hear Roddy's strikes, and you could really hear the viciousness.
Oh my God.
There were a couple times I was typing some notes on my laptop, and I heard the chop or the strike, and I'm like, I was taken aback. I'm like, what is this? Jeez.
Yes.
Like I said,
that running rope spot he does is fucking.
Oh.
Like it looks like it can be. I know it's fake. I get that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when he goes back and forth, like, I'm sorry, I don't want no part of that. Fake or not, I don't want no part of his ass forearming me twice, then kicking me in the fucking head. Say, I'm sorry, it's fake, I get it, it's a work, blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's going to be a no for me, dog.
You know what it feels like with Roderick Strong? Sometimes when he does that, it's kind of like when you're playing a fighting video game and you're just hitting combos. It feels like he's hitting like a 50
right.
54 hit combo or something. That's how it feels like
a Marvel versus Capcom, just hitting it with a...
Yes.
Jesus.
I loved it, man. Overall, solid match. It was Matt Riddle that won with the Bro Derek. I love it. I like that they're using the Bro Derek, and it does seem like Matt Riddle has a multitude of finishing moves.
Yeah.
He can finish you off with a bunch of different
I just wish they would let him do the damn tombstone, man, or let him do that version of it to make it a tombstone. Like, it's not that big of a deal. He's doing the Gotch style leg grab. Just let him do it. Like that lay down thing, like it just does not do it, because in the Indies and like in Evolve, he did the actual tombstone. That was like one of his finishes.
I think it's just the fact that the tombstone is so synonymous with Undertaker and Kane that anybody else doing the tombstone, it's just like nope, nobody else can do it.
I get that, but that's what I'm saying. Leave it how he's doing it when he does like the Gotch style through the legs, so it doesn't look exactly like the tombstone. But that old ass man only does it once every 2 years, bro. Like I don't understand the stuff that they let Triple H, they let Rollins get the pedigree,
but that was more
Triple H
to
is on
like
TV.
That was more to further a storyline because he was the mentor.
All right, well, what about Kevin Owens doing the stunner?
But see, they're doing that, but Austin isn't around anymore to do the stunner. I feel
he was just stunning niggas on Raw 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
How often does he show up? I'm more or less saying that once he retires fully and he's not a member of the roster, I think that would open up the opportunity for Matt Riddle.
I get that too, but when's the last time he wrestled?
He's still technically
he
part of
wrestles
the
once
roster.
a year.
He's still technically part of the roster, though, unfortunately.
I mean, he probably does as many appearances as Austin does a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, but let's really talk about the post-match, because post-match, Matt Riddle got beat down by a debuting tag team, which, okay, first off, I don't know what they are, who they are. I don't know who they are. We've been saying for a minute. I said
Turkish AOP.
Turkish AOP. That's one way to put it. But the big thing here is that Malcolm Bivens, how do you pronounce it?
I think it's
Bevins. Okay, Malcolm Bevins finally showed up on NXT. For those of you that may not know, enlighten them, Arn. Who is this man?
Stokely motherfucking Hathaway, the best manager outside of Paul Heyman in all of wrestling. Don't at me, don't question me, don't email me, don't tweet me, don't nothing. It goes Paul Heyman, and then a few steps down, Malcolm Bivens, whatever the hell you want to call him, Stokely Hathaway, whatever. That man is amazing in every single way. And if you don't believe me, go look into his feud with Catchpoint and Evolve. It was like a 2-year damn feud. He is off the chain on the mic, and now he's even learning to wrestle a little bit too, so he can take some bumps. He's been taking bumps, I think, for about a year now, year and a half now at NXT. This is going to be a game changer for sure.
Oh man, for sure. I've been a big fan of this guy, and I've been waiting for him to finally debut. And man, him as a manager for a tag team, this feels like AOP again. Like what they were doing with Paul Ellering and AOP, it could work. And obviously, those guys need a mouthpiece, and it's something for Malcolm to do. And I hope it's more of a Bobby the Brain Heenan thing where he has multiple clients, so he moves on to different clientele. Like it's someone you can hire. Like if I'm a wrestler,
see, that's how he was. That's how it was in Evolve. He had different. He had different people that he managed and different people like on his roster. Like I'm telling you, he ended up managing Timothy Thatcher. Like I'm telling you, go back and look at his Evolve work. If you are not hip to Malcolm Bivens, whatever his name is, just look him up in Evolve, and it'll tell you all you need to know.
Okay. One quick thing. I know we were talking about this on the group chat, and Matt from the Smackin' It Raw podcast, he tweeted out what we think about MVP being the manager for Cedric Alexander and Ricochet if they become a tag team. What about Malcolm as their manager, man? Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
What about Malcolm Bivens as a manager for a heel tag team for Ricochet and Cedric Alexander down the line? I would love to see that.
Well, I don't care who you put in with. You can put him with Jerry the King Lawler and JR as a tag team. It does not matter. Like he is gonna get them over. And I feel like that's why they put him with that no-name tag team. Like they look good and they're pretty big, and that's the thing at NXT. I'm definitely wishing they'll do some more of is bring some actual big guys in. I'm not saying you need to bring in like some Big Show size guys, but at least some 6'7", 6'8" guys that there's some sort of contrast. I mean, because you saw Malcolm came up to their nutsack. They were so big. So
yeah, Malcolm is a small man for sure, but we'll see what happens with the new team. The future of the tag team division, according to Malcolm. We'll see what happens. Well, we do have.
Did the announcers say their name or anything?
No.
Okay.
They just announced Malcolm Bivens at arriving at NXT, and that's all. Gotcha. That's the only person they addressed. And I love the motivation behind here. Is that he targeted Matt Riddle because he knew that his partner Pete Dunne wouldn't be able to help him, and he was vulnerable. Doing heel shit. I love it. Boom. Man.
And you're instantly attacking the champ and putting your guys ahead of the line. No matter what happens, they're going to want to get their comeuppance. So your guys are guaranteed, if it's not a title match, they're still guaranteed a match with the champs.
Exactly.
Which will put you on the map.
Sure.
Literally booking one-on-one.
So we'll see what happens in the future, but what we do know that's official for next week, we have Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish singles match. I'm excited to see what Bobby Fish can do in a singles environment. Maybe I'd like to see him no Undisputed Era involved. Just him one-on-one, just like Roddy did it against Matt Riddle tonight. Also, we have the North American title match, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and Damian Priest, triple threat for the North American title. Predictions, man. Quick predictions here. Is Keith Lee dropping that title?
No.
Hell no. Exactly. And,
hell to the no.
And the third match that was announced is to determine the final slot in that ladder match 2 weeks from now. Second chance gauntlet match. Xia Li, Deanna Purrazzo, Dakota Kai, Aaliyah, Kaden Carter, and Shotzi Blackheart.
I think your girl's winning this.
I don't know,
It's
man.
either her or Dakota.
I want Shotzi to win this. I really, really do. But I think it's going to be Dakota Kai with the help of Reina Gonzalez. And they're going to further that Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai stuff. And maybe...
The only reason why I was picking your girl, though, is because it is a ladder match and you need somebody like her, that crazy brawler that'll go do some shit off the cage, jump off the
Hey, man,
top
they just got Io back.
Like,
she's going to do a moonsault from the top of that ladder.
Yeah, I believe that too, but I mean, like Shotzi, like I feel like her style matches with that ladder match perfectly because you have so many technical people. Because even Io, like she's a technical high flyer. Like
Right.
all her shit's crisp. Like sometimes you need that brawler in those type of matches just to kind of throw a monkey wrench in the normal type of ladder match. And that's
Right.
why, like I said, I can't believe I'm even jumping on your girl's bandwagon like that. But I feel like she would be perfect for that match.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think Shotzi has plenty of time to be involved in some kind of ladder match in her WWE career. I think storyline wise, Dakota Kai is probably the best fit here because also, Mia Yim is in that match. She might be the brawler that does all the crazy stuff, but it looks like they might be transitioning to Mia Yim versus Chelsea Green or Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai. So they're going to use that ladder match to help further some other feuds going forward. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Xia Li and Aaliyah can be like they cancel each other out. Honestly, for me,
Right.
I think that feud's going to further. So
I think that they're going to take each other out the match completely.
Yeah. So let's go on to the final segment of the show. Triple H is in the ring to address everything between Ciampa and Gargano, but before he can get too much into it, Gargano interrupts him, and I don't know the gist of what Ciampa was saying, but Gargano comes out to rebuttal basically, and they're going back and forth. Gargano tries to take no blame for what's happening, and then Triple H. I like how Triple H just played the no nonsense role here. He's like, "Look, man, I like both of you guys. I understand you guys. Like honestly, if this was up to William Regal, he wanted to fire both of you guys. But look, if this is gonna happen, no physical altercation." Nothing is gonna happen. I don't want no interaction between you two physically, because if there is, I'll just let go of both of you guys right now. Because they were talking about how this was basically who was the face of NXT, and they gave a new meaning to this feud, and it made it more real. Because if you ask anyone like who's the face of NXT, they'll probably say Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. You go down the lines, and this being about about who the face and the heart and soul of NXT truly is, I think it's perfect. It's a great way to structure the feud, make it feel a little bit more different. And I liked how Triple H compared it to himself and HBK. He says if anybody knows and understands this, me and Sean do. And basically, they're gonna have a blow off match 2 weeks from now, and Triple H kept trying to say, I know this match deserves to be on the biggest stage there is, and Johnny and Tommaso kept cutting him off, saying look, just give us a ring, give us an empty building, and give us a ref or camera crew or whatever to shoot it. Just give us this match. So in 2 weeks' time, he's like, in 2 weeks, I will send you the address to the location, and that's where you're going to go. And I love this because it's using the fact that you can't you can't have an arena for this in a different way. They're making it seem like this is going to be a straight up fight. And he even said the ref is only there so that he can call it and there be an end. That's what he wants. This will end. After this, there's no more between you two. Because if you guys try to go into this again, neither of you two will be here in NXT, and you guys don't have to worry about trying to be the face or heart and soul of NXT anymore.
Right.
And
the first thing I liked was this bringing back to Tommaso, all that shit with Tommaso Ciampa, where he was saying he didn't want to ever go up to the main roster. He's NXT for life.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that part. And then you go to Johnny Gargano, which pretty much anybody that actually watches wrestling, is in the loop in wrestling, everyone knows that Johnny Gargano is NXT.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I mean, that's just the brass tacks of it. I mean, you can debate it. You can say you can say he's 1A or 1B, but NXT and Johnny Gargano are, they're synonymous with each other. And then another thing is, can we give my man Triple H his flowers? He is the fucking GOAT. He is the creator and the muse and the artist of the best wrestling show on fucking TV. He knows how to pick the best talent. All of the people that he picked and brought in are now world champions and main event players on those other two crap ass shows we have to watch. Give this man his due. Fucking the boss's daughter can only go so far. When are we ever going to give this man his props for being how great he is? He will save Raw and SmackDown whenever that old man dies. Book it.
I like how you brought that up, man, because two things. I don't know if you've seen it online, but there was this art of someone that someone made of the WrestleMania poster, and every single headlining character that was on that poster are former NXT stars. From The Fiend to Roman Reigns to Charlotte to Rhea Ripley, the works. You know, Drew McIntyre, you name them, they're all NXT. And also, too, going back to Matt Hardy on on the podcast with Chris Jericho, he mentioned, hey, you know what? If Triple H was in charge of Raw and SmackDown, I probably would have had a little bit more creative freedom, and I probably would have stayed. Because according to Vince, he just didn't get the broken character, and I know for a fact Triple H probably got it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
If he had got just look what he did with the Wyatt family, that was his shit. That was their creation.
Yeah.
Imagine what he would have did with the broken character.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't want to just give credit to Triple H. I want to give some credit to Dusty Rhodes because he was a big part of creating these characters.
Well, I meant like overall, like nothing was getting put on TV without Triple H to say so.
Oh,
so
for sure, yeah.
He had to have had the vision to see down the line. So imagine if you had gave him when they first signed Matt Hardy and they brought him back to WrestleMania as the Hardy Boys, which is a fucking stupid mistake. If he had actually gave him when it was hot, the eyes it would have brought to NXT for one, and letting that character like develop and grow under the WWE umbrella. Then when you debuted it on the main roster, then you would have had people that have been able to see the WWE version of it, but it still would have had its time to marinate and keep that momentum that he brought in from TNA.
Okay. I mean, the one issue with that is that not too many people knew about the broken stuff. I mean, wrestling Twitter did. You know, hardcore fans knew about broken Matt Hardy, but the casuals didn't. So if you bring in Matt Hardy and he's doing all this stuff and you don't give an explanation to it, I don't think.
But that's not true though. That's what they always. That's the WWE's version of saying so. At WrestleMania, it was people doing delete when they were going to the crowd.
Yeah, but
WrestleMania is supposed to be the casual thing, but it was still people yelling delete. And on Raw the next night, they were yelling it.
The Raw after WrestleMania is a terrible example for the casual crowd. I'm talking about people.
I'm just saying, like, people knew it. And maybe not enough. Like I said, that's why you take on the NXT to kind of cultivate it to get the WWE fans accustomed to it and realize what it is.
And that's something that they told Matt. I'm like, hey, what if we move you to NXT? We'll give you more creative freedom there. And it was just a little too late there.
It was,
I don't think the issue about debuting him as the Hardy Boys was a bad thing because that was probably the biggest pop in wrestling, their return in that ladder match. It's just that they didn't handle the broken character once they got to the broken character. But, you know, that's a subject for another day. Honestly. And we're going to close this off by talking about the last thing that happened. Gargano, Ciampa, they're face-to-face. Lights go out, the Titantron, the videos that we've been seeing for weeks. Obviously, there was no name on there, but you saw some images. Killer Cross, TikTok, motherfuckers. He is debuting in NXT soon. He's planting his flag as being a top guy in NXT by being in that segment, being showcased as a way to close off that segment. What do you think, man?
I think it's a mistake.
Really? Explain, elaborate.
I think that. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not good. He's clearly going to be a fucking star. I mean, everything about him screams star. But he's also kind of new as well. And I think that they should have kind of not slow brought him in or like brought him in under, but maybe like, I don't know, maybe against Keith Lee or someone. I don't know. I hope that he ends up being what we think he's going to be, but I think that they're going to put the spotlight on him and we're going to see that it's a little bit different in WWE than it is on Impact and the Independence.
We'll see here. I don't know if you know this or not, but the reason why Scarlett Bordeaux hasn't debuted is because she's going to be paired up with Killer Cross, and they weren't sure where they wanted to put Killer Cross. So basically, they're going to use them like 2000 Brock Lesnar, where he came in and was a monster, and Scarlett Bordeaux is going to be his Paul Heyman, just a mouthpiece. It's going to be the heater for Killer Cross. He's just going to be the monster that dominates people. That's how they're going to book
Is he really that big? Like, how big is he? Like,
I don't know how big he is, but I want to say he's like maybe Randy Orton tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's tall.
I know he's fucking jacked. I know that. I mean, like I said, he's dope. Like, I'm not trying to talk down against Randy, but I feel like you get in there with guys that are 100% go in the ring, things are going to look a little bit different.
I have to check to see, because I know he had some interaction with Drew McIntyre when he was in Impact Wrestling. I'm gonna go back and see what the size, because if it's anything close to the size wise, even if he's like an inch or two shorter than Drew McIntyre. He's still
one of the biggest people in NXT.
So that's the big hype. We finally know where Killer Cross is going. He's gonna be in NXT. Looks like he's gonna be a top player in NXT and build him up. Yeah. God knows NXT needs more big name people. But we'll see what's going forward. Next week's episode looks like it's gonna be dope as fuck. 2 weeks from now, it's gonna be lit. I already know that ladder match, that Ciampa Gargano match, and we know we're gonna eventually get Dream versus Adam Cole, and that's probably gonna happen 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. NXT is right at the ship, and I'm just happy we're here doing a podcast. I'm sorry.
Triple H must have been sick last week or something. That's the only thing I could think of.
No, no, because he was on the little thingy there. I think it was just a Vince call. He's like, no, we're not gonna do any wrestling or something like that, and he probably just hindered the whole thing. Because if this was on the network, it would have been wrestling still. But I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have the manpower. Maybe he was out there testing some folks and had to make sure that everybody was clear.
That's what I'd go with, is that maybe they didn't have a full enough staff or crew or something. I don't know. Like I said, because this is the NXT I expected. This week is what I expected last week, especially with AEW having a live show and everything. But I mean, they're like you said, they righted the ship, and we definitely looking forward to some raw ass shit the next few weeks for sure.
Well, for sure, man. But with that being said, that's today's show, guys. Like I said, always and forever, download this episode wherever you consume all your podcasts. Hit that notification button. Comment down below. What do you think about next week's matches? Let us know who you think is going to win that gauntlet match. You know, who's going to win that triple threat match. All the matches slated for next week. Give us your predictions. Bobby Fish, Dream, all that stuff. Comment down below. Like the video. Subscribe. We already reached 100 subscribers. So bad news for me is that I have to do a live review of the Cats the movie. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But you could also reach out to us and talk some wrestling at Smack Raw Pod, at Mr. 8984, at SES Vince, and join our Discord if you want to talk wrestling. Just look up Smack Raw Podcast on the Discord. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Just search it up, and we'll come to you guys with more content next week. Thank you guys again. Later, y'all.
See you later, guys.